Political blogger Andrew Breitbart also spoke to the Republican Jewish Coalition for 15 minutes.
Anyone under 18 must leave the room just based upon current events that need to be discussed. I will wait for 10 seconds. Please flee the room. I want to thank the Republican Jewish Coalition. My first event was held here, not in this esteemed room, but in the bar downstairs. I came for the free drinks, and I've stayed because I get to speak to this group for free many, many times. What a lucrative alliance we've created. Why is this night different from all other nights? Well, on this night, the American political agenda is held hostage by a schmuck. I see that the press left. They're afraid of me. But to those last holdouts, you may not know who I am. I'm the gentleman who hacked the congressman's computer 2 weeks ago. He's not particularly good at PR, this Congressman Weiner. And I'm a lot more empathetic than he actually thinks. If he had come to me, I could have given him advice, because I actually started to feel sorry for him on day, I don't know, 16 of this. I go, everything you're doing is exactly wrong. For one, he could have said this is just another example of Jew-on-Jew crime. And I would have had to have apologized for the cycle of violence. I think the best PR advice I could have given him, given the circumstances up in San Francisco, is that he was trying to demonstrate the virtues of circumcision against the anti-circumcision lobby. Well, I'm not going to go blue all night because I come here with a purpose. I was bar mitzvahed, let me think, 1982, what is it, 29 years ago, University Synagogue at the corner of Saltaire and Sunset, and I was kicked out of Hebrew school, I kid you not, by Rabbi Freeling and Cantor Freilich. And in hindsight, I think that's where the battle started with me and the liberal Jewish community. I'm so glad I spoke out of turn in Hebrew school. And I remember my father, Gerald Breitbart, around the same era, the last time we went to University Synagogue, I remember him pulling me. He said, "We're getting the hell out of here." And that was when Rabbi Freeling supported Reverend Jesse Jackson after calling New York Hymietown. And I thank my father for having the common sense that I use today instead of the stupid degree I got from Tulane, which was basically moral relativism, and that somehow the Jews were the oppressor in the Arab-Israeli crisis. I was like, this doesn't make sense to me. I don't get it. This Edward Said doesn't make sense to me. This Rashid Khalidi, I'd like to see that videotape, doesn't make sense to me. I just don't understand how an inherently decent and free people could be the bad guy. Never made sense to me. Never made sense to me. And I'm glad I've become a journalist because I want to fight on behalf of the Israeli people. I've been there. And the Israeli people I adore and I love. And for those people in journalism school that teach neutrality and objectivity. That's on par with the moral relativism that they teach in the humanities departments. You cannot be objective when it comes to right and wrong, and Israel is in the right. So I'm a biased journalist, and I have a great time doing it. And I think that we're starting to win. I think that the mainstream media no longer has the potential to hijack the American narrative. And my goal is to create a website by the name of Big Jerusalem so that Israel, not just what Israel has to deal with, is actually worse than what conservatives in America have to deal with when it comes to media bias. Because not only do they have to deal with the inherent media bias against the American media, they have to deal with the inherent media bias of the international media. And when Israel is in the right, when something has transpired in the media, they're immediately called the hacker, just like I was 2 weeks ago. And then they have to undo the damage done by the mainstream media. And so that is why I've created a media enterprise whose sole goal isn't just to tell the truth. I take stories that are politically incorrect, I take stories that the mainstream media doesn't want to hear, and I don't just aim them against the object, whether it be Acorn or Congressman Weiner, or whether it be Hamas. I aim it at the mainstream media. And I say to them, if you're not going to cover this truth, every second that you don't cover this truth, you're going to look more stupid, and you're going to lose more viewers, and you're going to lose more subscribers. And that business model has worked quite well. So I'm a biased journalist, and hopefully more people will join the fray, because this is a citizen movement to take on ABC, CBS, and NBC, and BBC, and the New York Times, and the mainstream media. I call it the Democrat media complex, the natural alliance of the Democratic Party, liberal interest groups, and the mainstream media. It's the matrix. And I think that the matrix will go down within the next 5 years, and hopefully something more fair and equitable will come as a result of it. But I want to come and give you some advice. I'm constantly under attack, and I love it. I fetishize it. I don't take pictures of my genitals and send them to teenagers. I like to fight the media. That's my fetish. Over the last 2 years, I joined something inadvertently, not inadvertently. I was asked to go to the first Tea Party, the big Tea Party tax day on April 15th down in Orange County. And I went down there not because I was going to I don't have a Paul Revere outfit at home, or Ben Franklin garb. So I was like, what am I going to talk about? But that day, the mainstream media, after 8 years of supporting any anti-Bush get-together, whether they supported the anti-WTO stuff in Seattle where people would break, throw trash cans into Starbucks, there wasn't an act by a protester that wasn't defended by the mainstream media as patriotic. It was just an absurd premise, and for 8 years that's all we got. And after 9/11, after the election of President Obama, the same people who had DeSantis patriotic bumper stickers, who basically turned treason and sedition into something kind of hip and Rolling Stony, this group of people said, hey, let's return to our founding principles, the Constitution and fiscal responsibility, values that everybody in this room, I hope, hold dear. And these bold, bold, bold people decided to go out there, and the first thing that the evil Democrat media complex did was accuse them of being racist, sexist, homophobe, and Janet Napolitano, no crotch shots from you, Madam Secretary, said that this was a potentially violent group. And I said, enough, enough. And I said, I'm going to go up there and I'm going to stand next to these people. And I did. And for the last 2 years, the mainstream media has waged jihad against the Tea Party, and there would not have been a 2010 election without we, the people, standing up and saying enough is enough. And that outside of the Beltway spirit is what has helped save the Republican Party. It's what's saved the conservative movement. And I'm demanding that you join this movement in order to change it, to make it more representative of the whole of the American people. These people love you. They love Israel. This is the American people. And don't allow for the mainstream media to destroy that which is good about the American experience. These people deserve your support. Please join the Tea Party movement. And this is not an endorsement of former Governor Sarah Palin, but I remember the first time I caught wind of this gal, this heroic governor who had an 88% approval rating. Why? Because she took on the corrupt Republican Party of Alaska and a big oil that was sitting on those oil reserves that they were leasing, and they just wanted to sit on it until oil went up to 120, and she took on the establishment. That's what the American people want. And I remember the first picture I ever saw of her was her desk, and she boldly displayed a flag of Israel. This woman is willing to stand by Israel. She's willing to stand by you. And whether you support her for the presidency, you should be standing by her when the evil Democrat media complex goes out there and mercilessly tries to destroy her. They blamed her for Tucson. And as they were kicking her while she was on the ground, she shrieked, "This is a blood libel," and they attacked her for that. This is precisely what a blood libel is, and thank God for Alan Dershowitz immediately standing by her, despite the fact that he's a liberal Democrat. We have a long road to hoe. I seriously mean this. I'm willing to live half of my year in Israel if it comes to this, to draw attention to the fact that if Israel goes, so will America. Okay? I want to create this big Jerusalem, and I'm going to need your help. This is citizen journalism. I don't have J-school types working for me. I have the heart and soul, the salt and the salt of the earth. Workers here in Hollywood and comedians like Evan Syed writing for me. I got Robert Davi writing for me. I've got researchers from God knows where that I've never met whose passion is to do what's right, to save this country, to save freedom, to save liberty. And to save freedom and liberty in this country is axiomatic with saving freedom and liberty in Israel. And so I'm not just asking you to join the Tea Party. I'm asking you to join this new media revolution, because that's what's going to save this country. It's going to save Israel, because at the end of the day, the reason why we're in this peril is because we allowed for the American narrative and the Israeli narrative to be hijacked by the media. And this is the end of their times right now, and we are the solution to that problem. Thank you very much.